Hello, readers. Today, we're going to practice our lateral reading skills by staying on our topic of dihydrogen monoxide and reading what some other sources say about dihydrogen monoxide. In a previous lesson, you read an article titled Dihydrogen Monoxide, The Truth, and many of you practiced your fact-checking skills with this. Today, we're going to practice lateral reading by looking at some other sources on the same topic. Now, I know many of you also found other sources during your fact-checking practice, but I found some sources that many of you did not seem to find in your search. The first thing we're going to listen to is actually an All Things Considered interview from NPR. The All Things Considered program on National Public Radio, or NPR, has been going on since the late 90s. Quick interjection from Ms. Lesniak in the future. Turns out, All Things Considered, after doing some lateral reading, actually premiered on May 3rd, 1971. There's that importance of lateral reading. They actually ran a story on dihydrogen monoxide back in 2004 on March 25th. In this interview, Robert Siegel, a longtime reporter for NPR, interviews Professor Tom Way of Villanova University. He maintains a website with information for people concerned about dihydrogen monoxide. Let's take a listen to the first part of the interview.
At the website www.dhmo.org, we read the following. Welcome to the website for the Dihydrogen Monoxide Research Division, currently located in Newark, Delaware. The controversy surrounding dihydrogen monoxide has never been more widely debated, and the goal of this site is to provide an unbiased data clearinghouse and a forum for public discussion. There are links to the National Institutes of Health National Toxicology Program, the Environmental Protection Agency, the Green Party of New Zealand. It may have been this website that led one California city, Aliso Viejo in Orange County, to consider a ban on foam cups because they are made with dihydrogen monoxide. Well, we found the man who created the website in question. He's in Villanova, Pennsylvania. Dr. Tom Way, can you please tell us, first of all, when you became involved with the dihydrogen monoxide crisis?
In 1997, I actually had discovered some information on the internet about dihydrogen monoxide, but there wasn't a whole lot of information out there. Kind of the same one web page worth of relatively inflammatory information that was entirely promoting a ban of the chemical. And so it just piqued my interest, and I started doing research and discovered that there was a lot of information that was being ignored or left out.
The website includes the following information, and I quote again, dihydrogen monoxide is a colorless and odorless chemical compound, also referred to by some as dihydrogen oxide, hydrogen hydroxide, hydronium hydroxide, or simply hydric acid. Its basis is the unstable radical hydroxide, the components of which are found in a number of caustic, explosive, and poisonous compounds such as sulfuric acid, nitroglycerin, and ethyl alcohol. This is powerful stuff.
Yes, it is very dangerous, and I think one of the goals of the website is to provide the information to just let people know about this chemical, what sorts of dangers are involved, like if you inhale enough of the stuff, it can actually kill you. It's a major component of acid rain. Solid dihydrogen monoxide can cause tissue damage. Exposure can decrease the effectiveness of your brakes, so it could lead to automobile accidents. Something that people might not realize is that you can wash your hands for 10 minutes and still not be able to remove all traces of dihydrogen monoxide. So it's insidious.
Now that you've listened to the first part of this interview from All Things Considered on NPR, I want you to reflect on how your fact-checking went. Did your lateral reading line up with the information that was presented in this interview? After reading the previous article, Dihydrogen Monoxide, The Truth, many of you believed that dihydrogen monoxide is a very dangerous substance, and many of you believe that dihydrogen monoxide was a very dangerous substance. Was that confirmed with this other source? Now that you've had some time to reflect on this other information that we have in addition to our original source, dihydrogen monoxide, the truth, let's take a listen to the second half of the interview. And then we'll reevaluate our thoughts about dihydrogen monoxide based on our continued lateral reading.
This substance, dihydrogen monoxide, in the chemical notation would be dihydrogen, that's two H's, two atoms of hydrogen, monoxide, one oxygen, H2O, better known outside the lab as water. Is this just a prank to have your dihydrogen monoxide website trying to fool people into panicking over the substance in their drinking fountains?
Well, Robert, that has happened. In fact, there were a couple of disc jockeys in Kansas City about a year or two ago who went on the air and informed the population of Kansas City that there was dihydrogen monoxide in the city's water supply. And, of course, most people immediately recognized it for what it was, but there were a certain number of people who called panicked to the city water department, and next thing you know, the disc jockeys were being reprimanded, and there was the potential for fines being levied, all for what they thought was a nice little April 1st message to their listeners. But everything on the site is 100% true. Mm-hmm. I had chemists look over the site and tell me, yes, in fact, everything on there is true. There just happens to be perhaps one minor detail left out, which would be the common name for dihydrogen monoxide.
Well, Tom Way, thanks a lot for talking with us today.
You're welcome.
Dr. Way runs the website of the Dihydrogen Monoxide Research Division. You can find a link to his website at our website, npr.org.
Take some time to reflect on your thoughts after hearing the second part of this interview. Does the information from the second part of this interview confirm or challenge what you had previously thought about dihydrogen monoxide, or as we normally call it, water? Reflect on your first try at lateral reading with dihydrogen monoxide, the truth. Could you have done more? How could you have maybe improved how well you did that first time? When you're lateral reading, it's important to look at multiple sources. We just had another source from All Things Considered by NPR. Now we're going to take a look at an article from the Washington Post, which is a national newspaper that has also been around for a very long time. This article is called Dihydrogen Monoxide, Unrecognized Killer. Based on this article and part of the All Things Considered interview, we're going to reflect upon the dangers of people not lateral reading and believing the first source of a piece of information that they've been given. Dihydrogen Monoxide, Unrecognized Killer, by James K. Glassman, October 21st, 1997. The chemical compound dihydrogen monoxide, or DHMO, has been implicated in the deaths of thousands of Americans every year, mainly through accidental ingestion. In gaseous form, it can cause severe burns. And according to a new report, the dangers of this chemical do not end there. The chemical is so caustic that it accelerates the corrosion and rusting of many metals, is a major component of acid rain, and has been found in excised tumors of terminal cancer patients. Symptoms of ingestion include excessive sweating and urination, and for those who have developed a dependency on DHMO, complete withdrawal means certain death. Yet the presence of the chemical has been confirmed in every river, stream, lake, and reservoir in America. Judging from these facts, do you think dihydrogen monoxide should be banned? Seems like an open and shut case. Until you realize that this chemical compound is plain old water. 2 hydrogen molecules bonded to 1 oxygen, or H2O, which can drown you, scald you, or make you go to the bathroom. Last spring, Nathan Zoner, an enterprising 14-year-old student at Eagle Rock Junior High School in Idaho Falls, Idaho, conducted his science fair project on just this theme. Nathan distributed a tongue-in-cheek report that had been kicking around the internet, Dihydrogen Monoxide, the Unrecognized Killer, from which the quotes above are drawn, to 50 of his classmates. These are smart kids who had studied chemistry. Many of them, like Nathan, have parents who work at the nearby Idaho Nuclear Engineering and Environmental Laboratory. Nathan simply asked them to read the report, which is completely factual, and decide what, if anything, to do about the chemical. They could even ask the teacher what DHMO was, but none did. In the end, 43 students, or 86% of the sample, voted to ban dihydrogen monoxide because it has caused too many deaths, wrote Nathan in the conclusion of his project, adding that he was appalled that my peers were so easily misled. I don't feel comfortable with the current level of understanding. Me neither. And it's not just kids I worry about. Nathan's project, which won the grand prize at the Greater Idaho Fall Science Fair, was titled, How Gullible Are We? But 9th graders aren't the only gullible parties. I'm sure that if Nathan tried the same experiment on adults, he'd find at least as many would want to ban DHMO. Consider the information from the All Things Considered interview about how people were so concerned after hearing some DJs run a story about dihydrogen monoxide that they started calling the water department of their city, panicking and freaking out about this chemical. And even the DJs were looking at potential fines because these people just believed what they heard and didn't even stop to consider, oh wait, it's April Fool's Day, this could be a prank. Also consider that 86% of the students' peers decided that DHMO should be banned without even doing any further research. What are the implications or consequences of people just believing the one source that they're reading? What are the possible outcomes of people doing this? Are they positive or are they negative? We can also make the point that the original article of Dihydrogen Monoxide, The Truth, had a bit of bias to it. Like the professor from Villanova said in the All Things Considered article, the article was completely factual, so everything in there was a fact and true. However, the bias was that they didn't let the reader know the common name of water. What do you think the danger is when journalists or reporters or people on YouTube or on TikTok, wherever in the media, what are the dangers when these people have a bias or a certain perspective that they're presenting to others?